Hi all. Well, another one of those jobs I sort of kept putting off because I've never done it before. Had to be done. So we now have bent acrylic headlamp covers. So the molds I made yonks ago, when I actually did the sort of recess area in the white bodywork on the original tooling. Before I did that, I took an outer surface. So we actually painted the original white buck with a complete outer surface first, and I took a mold of the corner of the car. So basically, to replicate the outer shape of the clear perspex, we already had a mold for that. I then did an inner mold for the headlamp, for the cover itself. And basically, we just heated some acrylic until it was flexible like a piece of cloth. I put the acrylic on top of some felt and then basically squeezed the acrylic between a piece of felt either side and then the A and B mold. Put it back in the oven, just let it settle a bit more, and then clamped it once it was back out the oven, let it cool, and we had a sort of, if I grab the one I've been just practice drilling on, there we go. And then basically we had a bent shape. The outside edge here obviously is very odd, but this one was a reject. I left it in too long and it got air bubbles in there. So basically it got too hot. Unfortunately, the oven I'm using won't go down to 200. So it's always trying to climb to 3. So I was kind of opening and closing the door to try and basically keep the temperature down low. But once we got the shape, then I put that on top of the bodywork. I taped it up, and then basically wherever it nicely sat, then I marked through basically with a pen to get the outer shape, and then cut the perspex on a slow wood cutting bandsaw. On the wood cutting version, the speed of the speed of the belt effectively is a lot slower, and then basically makes it just, you've got to be very careful not to actually split acrylic, especially when drilling. So, but yeah, that worked pretty well. It was a good tip from a good friend of mine called Brandon. He's done this kind of thing before, and if you look at his YouTube site, How Is That Street Legal, there's actually a video there to show you how to do that. So I basically mimicked and copied what he did, and it worked out great. So yeah, so we've cleaned up the headlamp shape. So I cleaned up the lens shape, and then we've just drilled it this afternoon. So basically this is all now ready for assembly. We could put the lights, the rear covers we finished. We were playing with the rear covers last time round. We now have all the mounting brackets, all the mounting holes now have all been drilled, and we have our little grill here, basically to stop the water hitting. Another good friend of mine suggested putting a little bit of filter material in there, just as an added stop to stop the water from splashing in. So we're going to do that. It sucks the air very close to the inside of the bodywork, and then the second fan pushes out here. So the covers are done, the lights are done, but the only thing we've got to do to the front is literally paint the inside. So I'll mask it all up next week, and we'll just paint the inside black, just to stop any colour come through, and it just leaves a better finish instead of just having the sort of milky yellow milky yellow sort of fiberglass colour. So yeah, we're pretty much happy with that. So on that front, yes, we pulled our first larger resin infused part for the rear wing. I learned a few things from doing one of the side splitters. So we didn't spray any of that particular tack stuff that I have to allow the cloths, to allow the layers of cloth to stick together so they don't move around so much. And I very minimalistically put it on here, and you can tell what I put too much on because it ends up being a not so nice finish. But on the main part of the wing, we didn't put it on, didn't really need it quite so much, didn't have to do a lot of contouring because it's literally just a single contour. And it turns out quite good. Actually, I'm super happy with that. So there's hardly any, there's a couple of little bits here, but that's about it. And I can just fill them in resin. It's got to be sanded anyway. Once the two parts are glued together, we'll have to sand and smooth off the front edge where the two pieces meet. The back edge is pretty simple. They just sit on top of each other and becomes a kind of a butt joint. So that's nice and easy. But the front edge will have to be sort of bonded together, and then the join effectively have to be feathered over. So yeah, super happy with. Let's just turn it over so you can see the infusion. Here we go. So this is obviously the surface of the peel ply. So this is like, it gives you a really good sort of rough finish for bonding two halves together. You can see the Soric. Yes, it's going to be cut short because at the moment it's nearly 2 meters wide, and I'm at least 3.5 inches of either side got to be cut down. But yeah, that's the Soric. So this is the core mat as such. That gives us that extra bulk, so you can see the step here and there. So that basically means that piece there is probably closer to 4.5 mil thick, whereas the rest of it's closer to about 1.5. But that gives it its extra strength, and it'll give it a sort of bend strength when we cut the stays for the uprights into this. So, but yeah, super happy how that came out. I'm still frustrated as hell trying to pull a decent vacuum bag. That always seems to be the frustration for everybody apparently. So I'm going to buy an ultrasonic leak detector, because my ears are getting old, just to find out where the leaks are in the gum tape when you basically do a vac bag around it. And I even did this as an encompassed vac bag. So pretty much it was a tube. All I had to seal was the two ends. And I've still got loads of leaks. So yeah, I've got some practicing to do on that. But like everything else, the more you do it, the easier it shall become. So yeah, super happy with that. I'll start laying up and pulling the second half next week. I've left this one 48 hours. I don't have a post-cure oven, but that's also something that's on my to-do list. We're going to build a oven. I've cleared some space up here, and we're going to build an oven on the other side of that wall now. And when I say an oven, it's basically something that'll get up to, I think, about 100 degrees centigrade. It doesn't really get a huge amount more. You only just want to post-cure it higher than temperature it should ever see outside. So basically it won't cure anymore if you put it in the sun and sag. So we'll basically do a post-cure oven that should be big enough to put a complete rear clip in. So with the mold, so basically it needs to be at least sort of 3.5 feet deep, and probably about 7 feet wide, and you know, it's got to be the full height of that, which is about 6'2". So we're basically building a small shed with a bunch of heaters, a bunch of electronic controllers, and a fire suppression system just in case. So that's one of my next non-car tasks, should we say. But yeah, super happy with the headlamps. They've come out better than I'd hoped. I wasn't sure, right? It's something I haven't done before, so you've always got that sort of apprehension a little bit. Yeah, so that's the fun we've been having the last couple of days. So I'll try and do some shorter, quicker videos, and do them more often as we're getting further down the line. There we go. This weekend's fun. Speak to you all soon.